7th. It's 7:15 in the morning, and this is my first video with the GoPro Hero, and this will be my first garden tour video. So let's get started. Okay, we are going to start with, this was the first bed that I ever made. Started from nothing. Literally the whole ground was covered in rocks, and it was surrounded by the putting green. That's where everything was started. We had a sand trap over there, so you can see there's a garden shade. But yeah, this was the first bed I started on, cleared the rocks out, did a couple hydro things here, covered everything in wood chips. We have pineapple sage over in the corner. Cool thing about this plant is literally the plant was probably about this tall, probably last year, about that tall, straight down the ground. Pineapple sage is cool. A lot of people toss them in teas. The reason I call it pineapple sage is it actually tastes like a pineapple. Moving on, we have sweet potatoes. One there, and one there. Sorry about the camera. And there's one over there just starting. And these were store-bought, just threw them in the ground once they started budding, weren't being used. And just letting them grow in the ground. What's cool is I have a ton of mulch. A lot of you guys have probably seen the Back to Eden video, and I did that here. Took me a while, but I finally found a tree company that just dumped a big pile. See if I can find that picture again. Into the driveway, and I've done it here. So the mulch is ridiculously thick. I mean, just ridiculous. And you can see how it's starting to decompose. I mean, that's amazing. This is about 7 months in. I've had absolutely no problems, except for one. It was with corn, and I'm pretty sure I found out why. What I've done is I literally do a lot of chop and drops. Those were carrots. We ate them last night. But back to the kitchen scraps. We got a couple onions, just stuff that's thrown away. These are flowers. Want to start them up. You can actually see a couple pieces. It's called confetti flowers. Mom wanted to try them this year. Threw them in, see if they'll work. If not, oh well. Two of the strawberries. These guys are Lorans. I have 4 more in the back that I'll show you later. And you can see there, this guy right here. There's the other sweet potato. He's just starting. He's about a month behind the other boys. Moving on, this is a pineapple. Started him from something I bought from the store. Started him in hydro and transplanted him about a week ago. No shock, adapted really well, and surprisingly they're very tough plants. This is a mango tree. He got hit by some frost. We had a low pressure, just some cold weather come through about a week and a half ago, and it hit a lot of the plants pretty hard. I like to grow stuff when you're not supposed to, and this is one of them. Transplant him out. He looks fine. We'll see if he comes back. If not, hey, we gave it a whirl. Alright, so that was our first bed, and as you can see, we have shade screen for when the sun comes straight up. Moving over is a fig tree. I have never known figs before this guy, and I absolutely love him. He's a black turkey fig. You can see he dropped all of his leaves. He probably went dormant for about a day and started coming around again. We have him down. We have a bucket down there. Just a Home Depot bucket. We took the bottom out. And for nematodes, my dad had a lot of citrus trees back here. But I have been adding, you can start to see it, some coffee grounds, nitrogen. I mean, it was all over the place, and it's just working its way in naturally. All over this place, I've added potatoes. Just massive amounts of potatoes are all over the place. They're going bad. Turning green, starting to sprout, and as you can see, we'll get over there soon enough. But they're all over this place. So, but the fig, amazing growth. We got him last year. He's about that tall. Just put on this amazing amount of growth. This is kind of my discard pile. Leaves we get from the front. Some of the hydro peppers that we put in the ground last year. You can see a couple red ones there. Other lemon trees, everything. Right back there is the back side of the garden. We'll go there now. I also have these cloves and onions planted all over. So you can see there's another potato popping through. They're all over the place. I'll take you back here real quick. Sorry about the bumpy camera. Lemon trees. And this was cleared out. And I have pumpkins planted them probably 2 days ago. And here are the other transplanted strawberries. Made little basins for them because this is Phoenix. Water is kind of in need here. And just so you guys know, it's not a coffin area. Dad made a root cellar. Keeps a lot of our extra provisions. He likes to do it. Moving on. Alright. Okay, on to bed number 2. Okay. Planted a ton of potatoes. You can see they're all popping up. There's one basically every other one. These were beets. We've been eating them. They're amazing. They're just like little turnips, like little radishes. More cloves. This bed before, I actually had squash, tons, and a couple zucchinis in there, and I'm talking like 1.5 foot zucchinis. I'll see if I can find that picture too. In front, I've planted carrots. Just made a trough and just diced them in there. And what you'll see is it looks like a couple just big plants. But in fact, when you pull them apart, you can see it's actually a bunch all mixed together. So what happens is when they kind of get when they get big enough size, I pull them and I eat them. They get baby carrots all the time, and I'm not wasting any carrots. Another clove. Now, over here looks very, very open. We did an experiment right here. You can see the pile. There's actually a potato under there. That was my first pull back and radish garden. So it originally had pine needles there. Pull them back, so it was just bare soil, and the rake made nice little grooves. Sowed a bunch of radishes, put needles right behind top, left it. And these radishes are really about this big. I'm not joking. It was ridiculous. But they sat under this moringa tree. The moringa got hit by the frost and died. You can see the black is a mix of coffee grounds and the actual moringa leaves that are decomposing. Moringa supposedly has this enzyme in it that helps plants grow. It's really, really cool. This mound right here, it actually will have watermelon seeds, should be sprouting fairly soon. And there's 2 more back there I forgot to show you guys. One thing that's really cool is people say it doesn't work. The Back to Eden, the Eden Garden deal. And they're talking about nutrients and nitrogens and all this other good stuff. It does, you just need to supplement it and keep your soil separate from your mulch, because that's the key. You're turning your mulch into soil. Here's the cool part. Bacteria actually doesn't break down wood. It's fungus. So I have these mushrooms popping up in Phoenix all over the place. Ta-da! And if you guys haven't seen what mushrooms do, go check it out. I know I'm going to pronounce this wrong, but mycorrhizae or something like that. They're the teeth of the forest. They break everything down, and they actually have some really cool connections with plants. They interchange nutrients. Okay, another fail. Again, another mushroom, but this was actually a plant, and to be honest, more mushrooms. It looks like this thing may live. It got hit really hard by frost, and I had to trim it back. That little green leaf down there, maybe it's only hope. But if we don't get any new growth, then we gotta start over. We'll find out. Many of you guys don't know, which I'm sure you all do, putting things over the soil keeps it alive. The soil is actually a living organism. If you're going to improve anything, improve your soil. Back to this. This is where my biggest failure was. This was our 3rd garden bed. We tried to raise the soil up because the soil was just dead. I had new stuff, and literally what I did, we went to this place for free and got a bunch of horse manure, threw it in the bed, literally planted right into it. It actually worked. We got tons and tons of acorn squash out of it. As you can tell, we're a big squash family. Then I tried to plant corn. That did not go over so well because I turned the bed. And that was after I put wood chips on it. And halfway through it, it wasn't straight horse manure. It had some hay in it. So I found out, and the funny thing was I still got corn. They weren't big ears by any measure. But I finally figured out what I did. So went and got some more coffee grounds, and you can see everything's starting to turn black. Literally haven't added any soil. It's just straight horse manure and wood chips. And it's actually tree trimmings. It's not the actual trunk. I'm sure there are some trunks there, but you want the stems, the branches. You want the small thin stuff. If you can get leaves, even better. But every foot in here is corn. I'm a huge advocate of permaculture. I love growing stuff together. Love trying new things. Because why just get corn when you can do Three Sisters, get squash, beans, and corn? And here it's just a couple experiments of a couple of heads of lettuce. Threw it down there, see what happens. Some more of the confetti flowers. I'm sure I am screwing this camera stuff up. We'll find out how it goes. So my wife and I, we like to eat raw. That is pretty much all raw food. But this was our compost pile. And this thing has been amazing. Absolutely amazing. As you can see, it's not fully done yet, but it's almost there. I was really excited. When this place started, it was dead. It was so warm. Nothing grew. Nothing liked to live, but even the weeds died. And about 2 weeks ago, when I was moving compost around, I'm a big fan. When you plant something, put some compost in it. We have red wigglers. We have worms. These giant red wigglers. Didn't bring them in. They are all over this place. It is absolutely amazing. I'm sure one of these times I will pull a compost heap off for you, turn, and you'll see some red wigglers in there. This was actually half of a radish. Remember I was telling you how big they were. They are ridiculously big. So, anyways, got some corn. Yeah, it's amazing. I'm telling you, stuff's really cool. And the lizards are actually out right now. That was the fun part, watching all the wildlife come in. And they're starting to come back. It's starting to warm up again. Now to the last bit. We live in Phoenix, Arizona, and it gets ridiculously hot. So what happens is, sun rises over there, as you can see, and it goes straight up, and it rises over there. Literally there's a straight over top. So these plants get absolutely barbecued right here. Plants back there get saved by there, and you got palm trees. But these guys, again, sorry about the camera, get absolutely barbecued. So I did this year. I was thinking, well, you know, shade screen, because it killed an apple tree. We get these things called microbursts. They're basically just lots and lots of wind and very little rain. They just rip down things. So we had a shade screen that wasn't going over top, was going to the side. Well, what happened was the nail came out, shade screen grabbed the apple tree, broke it in half. It happens. So this year, I decided to go with something a little more natural. And hopefully they will bind together and be a little stronger. But I planted sunflowers. You can see they're all starting to pop up on this row. A little blank right there. But here come the sunflowers. Hopefully the sunflowers are a little bit stronger, and we'll see what happens. But that will help protect these plants from the shade. You guys are probably asking, what in God's name is that thing? Okay, do you remember those little guys I showed you right here in the front row? That is the same carrot. This is a carrot that I let go to seed. When I first started, I started with a cover crop, and I hope I get this right. It's called Dichondria. These guys came up through the mulch. I threw mulch on top of them, they flew up. But carrots and radishes I love. They're great cover crops. They help build up the soil. They're awesome. More mushrooms. Okay, this is a carrot flower, if you guys have never seen one. Absolutely amazing. Spiders love these damn things. This, down below, is a carrot. So hopefully this guy will go to seed, give me tons of carrot seeds all over the place, and we'll see how it goes. These guys are giant garlic. We got these as a wedding present, and they're supposed to be these huge bulbs. we'll see how it goes. I saw once these guys get a little taller, if you cut the leaves in half, the bulb just takes over and gets really, really strong. Another onion, and here's what's cool. You can actually see the spiders in there. They take care of the pests. Everything kind of just takes care of itself. These were marigolds from last year. They do a great job at, they let this, I want to say chemical, let go in the root, and it actually kills nematodes, which eat the plant roots. Well, one thing I found, nematodes love citrus. Neighbors have citrus, we have citrus. We used to have 3 citrus trees in the corners of our yard. So we have nematodes. Nematodes actually eat slugs and snails, which love to eat your plants. So it's always a balance. I know I haven't highlighted it. We have a hummingbird feeder and 2 bird feeders. Birds are amazing. We really struggle with tomato hornworms. Every time we try to grow something, it's on the patio, way over there, or anywhere. And ever since we got bird feeders, no hornworm problem. It's amazing. You can finally grow leaf vegetables here again. So, let's highlight a couple things. I know it's a little empty, but like I said, we got onions everywhere. That is a snapdragon. I did not know these were perennials. We bought them. It was like one little thin stick and these giant flowers that get shot up. I'm not sure how the camera's going, but they're about that tall. Cut them back, and I thought they were just gonna die. I thought they were an annual. Turns out they're perennial, and they come back very bushy. And that one actually got so tall it fell over, and the carrot's kind of blocking the view of it. But it's nice. One cool thing I have to say is go with nature, man. Let it do what it does, and it will reward you. I try and have wood piles around the yard. Lizards love those damn things. They eat bugs. The cool thing I have to say from starting is things are alive, and it's just amazing how if you pull back soil, everything is in there. And I'm sorry if I'm boring you, but you can just see the soil move. It's incredible, and how alive the soil is. Now I have stuff planted that's not up, such as the grapes. You can see the sticks in the corner. But at every single post that you've seen today, there are 2 beans, and they're climbing beans. Waiting for the corn to go, and we'll plant the bush beans. We have our tomatoes way back there on that little table, the red Solo cups. Those are going to be out here. There's a new planting method I saw Praxis 55617 do, and I'm really stoked to try that. When that moringa died, I waited for it to harden off a little bit, and then cut the branch off, and that's what I'll stake my tomatoes to. It's really cool once you get going how crazy this place is going to be. And that's one watermelon spot, there's the other. So until next time,